Hi guys, it's Amber here from Spoilt Scale Reptiles. Today I'm just going to be showing you how to set up a starter isopod habitat. So we're going to start with the soil mix. So the soil mix, I use the Earth mix by Arcadia. It's the supercharged one with the nutrients and minerals. So I think this is really important for the isopods. Mine tend to thrive in it. I'm also going to be using some moss because the moss holds the humidity really well. And I've also used a cocoa fibre brick. So unfortunately I had already dissolved it and used it, so I didn't have the packaging to show you. But the cocoa fibre bricks, they're about £3 or £4. They are a brick that you basically put into a bucket of water and it expands and creates this substrate. I always make sure I use a mix because I don't find the cocoa fibre, for me, works really well on its own, whereas some people swear by it. But with the earth mix, it works perfectly. So the moss is in. I mix a bit with the substrate and make sure that they have a corner which has higher humidity because the moss holds the wet and the damp really well. The cork flats are really important. Always make sure I include 2 at least in there. Sometimes I do 3 or 4 smaller ones. You'll notice that I disappeared and I have magicked up some leaf litter. So the leaf litter is a really important part of the ecosystem, really important part for your isopods. So these leaves we actually went and got ourselves, but we know how to make sure that there's no bacteria and stuff on them. I recommend buying leaf litter. So Prorep do a really good one and a lot of your local reptile shops will do them too. And if you want a video on how to make the leaves sterile, just let us know. And also the food is a really important part of it by the Spider Shop. So the Iso Boost, I've only just stumbled across recently and it's absolutely fantastic. They eat it within 24 hours. We've got the coconut stems now, so most of you will know if you've watched our previous content. Coco stems are my favourite. They're pretty, they look like flowers. They are just a bit of natural decoration for the isopods to have a little munch on, to hide in, but they do like lotus pods. So if you can get some lotus pods, I highly recommend those. I have ordered some, they're en route. They'd eaten the previous one they had. So it's time to put the little isopods in. So this is my zebra colony. So the zebras are a little bit harder to keep than some of the others, like the giant oranges and the dairy cows. They prefer the humidity a lot lower than the others, but they also prefer the warmth, so always make sure they're near a radiator. I spray them down a little bit less than what I would the oranges. I've always got oranges everywhere, they get everywhere. I don't know how, I don't know whether they magic themselves in the different habitats, but I always have oranges everywhere. But this should be zebras. But I do also keep dairy cows as well. So back to the leaf litter. So leaf litter, if you want us to do a video on how we collected it and everything, please just let us know. If you want to buy leaf litter, have a look at Prorep on any of your leading reptile websites. They do a really good sized bag, which is perfect for the isopods. The isopods will strip the leaves. They will eat them all and leave the leaf skeleton, which I find absolutely fascinating. They're beautiful. But they also, it is important that you do include some sort of food for them. So I use, as I've said previously, the Spider Shop's isopod pellets. They work perfectly. You can also put cucumber in there. I do like to put fresh fruit and veg in there for them at least once every 2 weeks. It's really important they get all the nutrients and stuff they need for them to thrive and breed. The cork flats as well, you want to make sure that they are positioned so they're not going to fall and squash your isopods because they are so delicate. You have to be so careful with them. So just make sure they're slightly off the ground so they can get underneath them, but also that they are secure and not going to fall if the box that you use gets knocked. So forgot to mention, so the box we use is a 5 litre storage box that we bought from, I think it was the Range, it might have been B&M. We've tried them in all different types of boxes and habitats and tanks and vivariums, and we find that this works the best. It holds the humidity well, just make sure there is ventilation holes in, so we have drilled in top of the box, on the lid, some ventilation holes to make sure there's an airflow, otherwise everything in there will just go mouldy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and if you'd like to know anything else, please just let us know in the comments.